On May 15, 2025, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office quietly released its fiscal year 2025 Consolidated Annual Report to Congress. The document covers cases through October 2023, a data cutoff more than 18 months before publication. 18 months. In any other domain of national security reporting, that delay would trigger immediate congressional scrutiny. Here, it barely made headlines. But buried inside this report, between carefully hedged language and institutional caveats, sits something that should have a multi-object incursion near U.S. military infrastructure off the coast of Virginia, involving what witnesses described as approximately 100 unidentified objects moving in coordinated formation. Let's start with what the report actually says. AARO now holds 1,870 total UAP cases on file. This fiscal cycle added 319 new reports. Of the cases AARO has analyzed, a significant percentage were resolved as drones, birds, aircraft, or atmospheric phenomena. The office emphasizes this. What it de-emphasizes is the statistical remainder. AARO classifies unresolved cases using language like insufficient data, a category that functions as a bureaucratic black hole. It doesn't mean explained. It doesn't mean unexplainable. It means the office either lacked censor data, lacked jurisdiction, or lacked the institutional willingness to push further. That distinction matters enormously, and the report makes almost no effort to clarify it. Consider the epistemology here. When AARO resolves a case as a balloon or a commercial drone, it counts that as a success, evidence of the system working. When a case sits in the unresolved column, AARO frames it not as a mystery, but as a data gap. This framing is doing enormous work. It transforms what could be the most operationally significant cases, objects demonstrating anomalous characteristics near sensitive installations, into administrative footnotes. Former AARO Director Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick established this framework. Current Director John Kozlowski has continued it, though notably, Kozlowski acknowledged in a November 2024 interview with NewsNation that some cases involve objects exhibiting very interesting characteristics that we can't explain. Now, the swarm. The report references a multi-object event near a U.S. military installation off the Virginia coast. The description is brief, almost parenthetical, but the operational implications are staggering. We're talking about the waters near the largest naval installation on Earth, Naval Station Norfolk, and Langley Air Force Base, home to the Air Combat Command. In late 2023, military personnel reportedly observed and tracked approximately 100 objects operating in apparent coordination. This wasn't a single anomalous light. This was a formation, a swarm, operating with impunity in restricted military airspace adjacent to critical U.S. defense infrastructure. This event maps directly onto what the Wall Street Journal and other outlets reported in early 2024, a weeks-long series of drone incursions over Langley Air Force Base and surrounding areas in December 2023. Multiple military and intelligence sources confirmed the incursions to reporters. The objects reportedly operated at night, demonstrated coordinated movement, and evaded identification despite significant military response efforts. General Glen VanHerck, then commander of NORAD and U.S. Northern Command, had previously testified before Congress about the challenge of identifying slow, low-flying objects in U.S. airspace. The Virginia events proved his warnings prescient. Yet AARO's report treats this swarm event with the same clinical detachment it applies to a single balloon sighting over Kansas. Here's where the gap between public disclosure and operational reality becomes measurable. AARO has repeatedly referenced its development of the GREMLIN sensor system, a deployable suite designed specifically to collect calibrated data on anomalous objects near military installations. GREMLIN was, by multiple accounts, being tested or deployed during the relevant time frame. If GREMLIN sensors captured data on the Virginia swarm, that data does not appear in the public version of this report. Its absence raises a binary question. Either GREMLIN wasn't deployed where the most significant UAP incursion in recent memory was occurring, which would represent a remarkable operational failure, or the data exists and was withheld from the unclassified release. Neither answer is reassuring. Read the report's language carefully. AARO consistently defaults to what might be called institutional negative theology, defining UAP by what the office has not found rather than what it has. No credible evidence of extraterrestrial activity. No verified technology beyond known physics. These are important statements. They are also structurally unfalsifiable within AARO's own framework, because any case that might challenge them gets filed under insufficient data. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who co-authored the legislation creating AARO, stated in a March 2025 Senate hearing that the office needs more resources, more transparency, and more urgency. Representative Tim Burchett has been blunter, calling AARO's reporting pattern a cover-up in slow motion. The 18-month publication delay demands its own scrutiny. AARO's enabling legislation, originally passed as part of the FY 2023 National Defense Authorization Act, mandates annual reporting to Congress. The FY 2025 report covers data through October 2023, meaning Congress is making policy decisions in mid-2025 based on information that is functionally 2 years old. For context, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence publishes its annual threat assessment within months of its intelligence cycle. The Pentagon's own Inspector General turns around classified reviews faster. AARO's delay isn't just bureaucratic friction, it creates a structural information asymmetry between the executive branch and the congressional oversight bodies that are supposed to hold it accountable. 100 objects near Norfolk, a sensor system purpose-built for exactly this scenario. A report released a year and a half late, with the swarm reduced to a passing reference. The questions this raises aren't speculative, they're structural. What did GREMLIN capture? Who decided the Virginia swarm warranted only a brief mention in an unclassified summary? And why does the nation's dedicated UAP investigation office consistently treat its most operationally significant cases as its least communicable findings? The gap between what AARO's language carefully avoids saying and what the operational facts demand we ask. That gap is the story. It has been the story for 2 years. This report doesn't close it. It widens it.